Hey folks, we are back in action with another Tech Tips. I'm Shireen Herrera, Patrick Lawson with Wind River Internet. We are here to help guide you through this holiday season. That's what this whole entire episode is going to be about, Patrick, is some cool holiday tech gifts. And if there's one person that you need to know the best tech gifts, the best prices, or any information, it's this guy right here. I imagine your kids probably have the coolest presents from you.
They're asking at least.
As we all are. And so we're going to break down a few different categories for holiday tech gifts, one being gaming, headphones, and accessories. And so we've got a few different things that we're going to talk about in each one of these categories. Patrick, with holiday tech gifts, how important is it to be in the know with some of these tech gifts? Because you're paying a lot of money for stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you want to. There's so many intricacies into the things. Like kid will say, I want a PlayStation 5, and like, well, did you want the one with the 1 terabyte, the 2 terabyte, or the new PlayStation Pro?
And what color
5, or
remotes do you want, or whatever,
yeah,
you know?
It's like, but I need all my games are on discs, and the new 5 doesn't come with a disk drive. You have to buy it separate. And it's like, so,
That's why you want to know these things.
There's some details.
there are some details, and there's nobody better, like I said, than Patrick to kind of guide us through this. So Patrick, you want to start with gaming?
Yeah, I guess we'll start with the more expensive gifts and work our way down.
Cool.
Yeah, just in my
I like the bottom ones.
Yeah, in my circle is like everybody's all excited about the new PlayStation. There's a new PlayStation 5, and it's the Pro version, and it's got a bunch more power to it, so it can do sharper visuals, better reflections, more realistic graphics. But it's $600. It's
expensive.
It's the most expensive gaming system, well, PlayStation ever. So people are a little bit like, I don't know if it's worth it.
But they don't come out with new ones every year, right?
No.
So.
It's like I think they try and stretch out the life cycle of a system for like at least 5 years, and then they have little variations in between. And this one's kind of like one of the variations, I guess.
Okay, the Pro version.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know anything about gaming systems because I still have a Super Nintendo that I literally have in my living room, and so I am not very privy to a lot of this information, including what a Valve Steam Deck is.
Yeah, so if there's this big rivalry in gamers between PC gamers and console gamers, and the console gamers are like, oh, the PlayStation's the best. They got these.
So like my Super
titles.
Nintendo, am I a console gamer?
Yeah, you're a console
okay,
gamer.
Console.
At this point, you're a retro console gamer.
Yes. Yes.
But it's making a comeback, so you're
is.
back at the current.
the cool stage.
No, seriously, I was just at a gaming store on the weekend, a retro gaming store. They had boxes of Super Nintendo games for $200.
Oh, nice.
Just the box. I was like, why did I throw away all my boxes?
I know I don't have my box anymore, but I have the games.
We were trying to set up Rock Band, and the little adapter so you could use the instruments from an Xbox 360 on an Xbox One, you can't find it. Apparently, they only made a few of them, and they're $300 now.
Wow. Yeah, so hang on to all those things that your kids want to throw away.
Oh, anyway, so back to what a Steam Deck is.
Yeah, Valve Steam Deck, what is this?
It's a PC gamer system, the handheld gaming system. So it's almost like a laptop, but more like shape of a Nintendo Switch or Game Boy if you're old school.
Okay, I know what that is.
Yeah, or a PSP.
Yep.
So you can play all the Steam games, or the large majority of them, and they're pretty powerful and they look good. You could hook it up to a TV and play that way as well.
What's the cost of one of the Steam Decks?
They vary. I think they're around the $500 range. They're not cheap, but
okay, so
they are cool. But they're cheaper than a whole gaming computer, which is usually around $2,000.
Okay.
So if your kid's asking for a gaming computer, like, how would you like a Steam Deck instead?
See, this is what Patrick's here for, to help you out.
And they're like, ooh, I can take that to school.
Yeah.
Like, you should not take that to school.
Yes, no, learn at school. But those kinds of pieces of advice for parents are really helpful too. I know you're a parent, Patrick, and so finding out stuff like this where, your kids do want some of these gifts that are high profile, they're pricey, they're techie gifts, and sometimes they're really worth it. And Patrick lets us know when things are really worth it, and he puts things together that are fantastic, that are worth it, like the PlayStation, the Steam Deck, which we're learning about, and then we're going to dive into some headphones that he's actually had some you've had one of your kids use, correct?
Yeah. So my older kid, he uses AirPods, and he's gone through different variations of them and lost them, and we found them. And he gets my hand-me-down ones when they come out with new ones. But that's something that everybody's asking about.
So what generation AirPods are these?
These are the Pros.
Okay, cool.
And they have noise cancellation, and they can even act as hearing aids now. They've got a certification.
I've heard that.
So,
Yeah, that's cool.
They're pretty neat. They got microphones in them, so they'll actually amplify what's coming in. They'll do noise cancellation, like so you can hear what you're listening to, but they'll listen for words. So if somebody starts talking to you, they'll go transparent, and then you can hear them. And you can start talking, and then they'll go back to the isolation.
I have a few people that could use those.
Yeah.
Chad.
But they're if you have Apple computers and phones and things, they work great. You just open them up, they pair, and whenever you need to answer a call, you just put them in, they work.
What if somebody doesn't like the setup, like the small headphones like this that are going into the ear? What options do you have for a tech gift or a stocking stuffer?
If your kid gets ear infections frequently, that's not a good idea to have one of those living in their ear all the time.
Right.
So there's these bone conduction headphones. There's a brand called Shokz. And they don't go in your ear, they go on the outside of your ear. If you remember in the past, there was like a Jawbone was the big brand in the back in the day. But these are actually like really high quality. They sound good. Like they have bass to them. They're really popular athletic.
Okay.
So like if you're running, you definitely don't want to have things in your ears where you can't hear traffic, and
right.
They don't fall out of your ears. They hook on. So they're really cool, and they're waterproof and stuff.
And that's Shokz, which is SHOKZ. If you are looking for those for a holiday tech gift, Patrick was showing me a few different examples of them. They definitely look like something that a cross-country runner or anybody athletic would really, really be into. Or again, if your kids are utilizing the AirPods consistently, this is something nice to just kind of give their ears a little bit of a break. From having something shoved in there constantly. So I think headphones are a great gift. I'm a big Sony fan. Love my old school radio Sonys, but I also have the Sony wireless headphones. They're fantastic. They have noise canceling. So those are one of my favorite brands with headphones.
Yeah, they've gotten a lot better over the years, the different USB, Bluetooth wireless headphones, yeah. But I recommend finding one that has a USB-C charger, just because that can throw you off if you get one that has some old connector and then you just have no way to charge it, then you won't use it because you can't find a way to charge it.
He's right. He's so true, because I just got a new phone and it went to USB-C, and guess what? I have like 6 chargers of the old charger. Yeah. I'm having a hard time finding the new charger right now, so I'm trying to transition those old ones out, and maybe I'll utilize those for some stocking stuffers, because that's our next topic. Our next category is accessories, and in there, I thought when you brought this up, Patrick, I was like, this is genius. USB-C cables in stockings.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
I mean, like, all the devices have moved to it. Everything we listed so far has USB-C, and you never have enough cables, so.
Yeah, you can never, and I was just thinking, like, what do I put in the stockings this year? A lot of times I put hygiene stuff. My grandma always put the chocolate orange. But I love the USB-C cable idea. Now, here's the one thing that Patrick taught us, though, on previous episodes on which USB-C charger I should choose. But if they're going in stockings, I'm probably going to get the cheap ones.
Yeah, I think for like most of the devices we listed now, like charging the PlayStation controller, or even the Steam Deck, just for powering things, you probably get away with the lower cost ones. If you're trying to do data transfer, then you want to get the higher cost ones.
Right. But you can skimp a little bit on the stocking USB-C cables, is what he's saying, which I like. I think that's such a great idea for the holiday, and I can't wait to do that. Next, Apple Watch.
Yeah.
You don't even have yours to show it off, and I don't have one. I want to get one, though.
Yeah, I usually wear one. You probably see it in all the other videos, but I left it out of town, so I got to go get it next weekend.
What Apple Watch are they on now as far as model? What's the most up-to-date model?
Don't ask me that.
Okay, sorry, put them on the spot. Because they've been out quite a while now, so they've obviously started perfecting a lot of the stuff that they do. But the new Apple Watch, there's a lot of good deals too, Black Friday deals.
Okay, so they're on Series 10 now.
Series 10, okay.
Yeah.
And there's like Ultra, there's all kinds of ones.
Yeah, and I think the Apple Watch, there's certain feature sets that are important to people. So I would actually not even bother looking at whether you want the Apple Watch SE, the 10, or the Ultra 2, and look at what is it that you want the watch to do. So if you've got somebody that's
Cook me food.
yeah, cook you food, like that has heart issues.
Okay.
And they want to be able to check and see if they're having fibrillation issues, heart problems. You want to make sure that's on the list. So like the newer watches, I think 7 and up are able to do that.
Okay.
They basically can do an EKG.
Oh, cool.
And then there's the newer ones that also monitor your. I can't even remember. There's all kinds of things they monitor now.
Yeah, it seems like they pretty much are just shy of cooking us food, the things that they do. I know a lot of my outdoor friends, if you have somebody that's likes to do some backpacking, potentially hunting too, having some of the devices or the newer Apple Watch technology that has better models for tracking and other things like that, and sending out alerts. I know that they utilize those in the woods. So.
Yeah, basically the lowest cost one starts at like $250, and they go up to $800. And kind of the middle one, the Series 10 is kind of the sweet spot. You get pretty much all of the features in terms of the heart rate monitoring and stuff like that. You don't get those on the cheaper ones. You get the the longest battery life on the top end one, and that's more for the people that are out camping and hiking and stuff a lot, where you don't have access to a charger. You can go 36 hours versus 18 hours.
Got it.
That's the one I have, and I lost it. I didn't lose it. I just left it at my sister's house. But
Patrick is having withdrawals from his Apple Watch. This is
I've been looking at it all day, and it's not there.
I'm sure you become used to it. I don't have one. I haven't worn a watch in years, and I want to get an Apple Watch. And I had some questions for Patrick, but I'm sure that you get accustomed to just consistently.
Yeah, well, you get all your alerts on it.
Yeah.
So
I don't want people seeing my alerts though on my wrist.
Yeah, I've got.
I also think that's, people can see.
But we monitor our whole network, and I can see if there's an issue somewhere, and like, oh man, we got to get somebody on that because
so you never stop working.
A cow rubbed up against a tower and pushed it sideways or something. Whatever. Or this afternoon, somebody apparently cut through some fiber and landed. But
yeah. Oh joy. All right, the Apple Watch. We'll move on to the gaming monitor. For a holiday tech gift.
Yeah, so that's kind of an idea. Like if you don't want your kid occupying your TV, they'd actually probably prefer to have a gaming monitor with higher refresh rate. So if you're looking for a monitor for a kid, not necessarily a kid, could be spouse.
What's up? How do you find the higher refresh rate?
Yeah,
when you're looking
so
for
these newer systems, they allow TVs are basically 60 hertz, or they used to be. Video cameras are typically 60 hertz or 30 frames a second. Some of they try to move everything up from like 24, 30 to 48 and 60 with it was like the Hobbit movie and Avatar. It worked really good for 3D, but people thought it looked like a soap opera, so they kind of went backwards on movies, back to 24.
Yeah.
But for video games, like a lot of when you're playing like first-person shooters and stuff, if you have a low frame rate, it'll actually make you sick. Like I remember the very first ones that came out, you feel kind of nauseous after playing them for a while.
Yeah, no, I would not do well with that.
Yeah, so the higher refresh rate is just much smoother looking, and
does it say that on the box? Because I know is that what they're looking for?
They'll advertise it everywhere.
Okay, refresh rate.
Yeah, Apple calls theirs ProMotion, so like the newer phones have a smoother, and the new iMacs, and usually they have some gimmicky name. Every different brand has something, but it'll be whatever theirs is. But yeah, the 240 or 120, 240. Yeah, 240 is kind of like the top. Most cards and gaming systems and things really struggle to do 120. So I don't personally think it's worth going over that. People argue whether or not the eye can even really see over like 18 frames a second.
I'm blind, I can't.
But you can. It definitely does appear smoother. Like you can see the difference when you're looking at a 60 hertz versus 120 hertz.
Okay.
120 to 240. You gotta have like eagle eyes or something to really notice that. It's tough.
So it sounds like the 120 is kind of that sweet spot, especially to get that gaming monitor that can really provide that clear picture. Something for your kids too that keeps them away from the TV.
Yeah, they're not occupying the big TV. They can have it in their bedroom or whatever. Yeah.
All right, the next one is, and I'm going to say that I don't necessarily want a robot vacuum for Christmas, but I did ask Chad, my fiance, for a vacuum for Christmas, and he said, I'm not falling into that trap. That's all he said to me. And I'm like, I really want one of these fancy vacuums. They're expensive. And he said, no, I'm not falling into that trap. But you have this on your tech gift guide because it is a fantastic gift.
Yeah, I think we should probably do a whole show on robot vacuums.
Have them on the table here. Let's duel them out. Let's do dueling Oh my gosh, we're gonna have like
Wait, you know what, maybe
robot vacuum
we
wars.
might have already did one.
I know, but we can have robot vacuum
We
wars.
did do one of the very. It was one of the first episodes that we did.
Oh, so I wasn't with you yet then, so we have to redo
yeah,
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll do dueling robot vacuums coming soon on Tech Tips.
Part of the Christmas episode.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
But you had a bunch of them.
I
set
do
up
actually. I
and
might have been here for that one.
So
Okay, we'll
I
bring it back.
don't recommend them if you have toddlers because they just chase them around and ride on them and flip them over and they like messing with them. Same with certain animals. They tend to mess with them. But
Have you tried the Have you tried the vacuum and the mop version?
I have. I had a mop one, but the problem with the mop one that I had back when I had it was like over 10 years ago, is it didn't really dry the floor. So basically, you'd have to go dry the floor after it mopped.
Okay.
I think the newer ones are
Getting better.
Yeah, but
I think it's a fantastic gift, robot vacuum or some of the newer vacuums.
yeah, when you're searching for them, look for one that says LiDAR. There are affordable LiDAR ones. They used to be thousands of dollars.
How do you spell LiDAR?
L-I-D-A.
L-I-D-A.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google it because I'm like, I have to make sure I
But
know how to.
basically, it's a laser.
Oh, LiDAR technology.
Yeah,
there
it spins
is. Okay.
around and
Yeah.
it creates a three-dimensional map of the area, so it doesn't run into things.
Light
And-
detection and ranging.
Yeah, and then it can actually know where it's already vacuumed, so it doesn't go over the same spot. The
Oh,
cheap
yes.
ones that you can get for like $100, they just bounce around in a particular pattern that eventually cleans the whole floor.
Got it.
They work, but they take a long time, and it's not the best.
So LiDAR technology,
Yeah.
that's a really good tip on robot vacuums for the holiday season.
Yeah, there's also ones with cameras that point up at the ceiling, and they can create maps that way, but they're kind of dumb. So like they'll run into things and get stuck in things a lot more often. But they're kind of like the middle ground. So if you're gonna try to go up at least to the ones with the camera, but if you can swing for it, go for the LiDAR. We have a Waze one, and it works great.
Okay, sweet, sweet. And is that the brand?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
cool, good.
Or Wise.
Wise?
Yeah.
I think I've seen that one, the Wise one. The last holiday tech gift we're going to talk about, and I asked Patrick the question before we started the video. I said, how young is too young for a drone?
I think they're more of a teenager gift.
Okay,
I think
so that rules out what we were talking about.
I don't know. My 5 and 4 year old want to fly our drone all the time, but
Oh, of course they want to, yeah.
once it's in the air, I'll let them play with it for a little bit. But landing drones, cheap drones that don't have all the sensors, is almost impossible not to wreck it at some point.
Okay.
The more expensive you get in the drones, the more sensors and the more automated functions they have. And like the one I have now is, as long as you have the functions on, it's almost impossible to wreck it.
Okay.
But if you turn those off so you can do certain things, yeah, then it's pretty easy to wreck.
There are some affordable drones, though, I saw on different deals and with some folks that were only a few $100s.
Yeah, there's some pretty good ones out there. A lot of them will pair with your phone, and your phone will be the controller. Once you start getting up there, like the DJI drones, they have actual controllers with the screen and everything built into them, so they can do the recording that way, and you don't have to break out your phone. And they've got models that are like a couple $100s that are probably good for like teenagers and beginners. But if you want to be like more professional, they go up to thousands of dollars. There's some really
Yeah.
good ones though for between like 500 and 1,000. Like
Yeah.
semi-professional, and that's what I recommend. Like if somebody's really getting into like video production
Yep,
and
or
stuff.
photography
Yeah.
even. It's a great tool to use. So I don't know if we had any questions from our last episode from Tech Tips too. We like to, if you do have any questions, you can comment them on the comments category. You can send them to us as well. We can answer them on the next show, or we can answer them right now if you have any questions. So any questions coming up? We will have to check for the next, I forgot to check.
So I realized I should have put in some things that we actually sell at Wind River Internet.
Oh, okay, like modems.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
your
this
awesome
right here.
modems.
I have
I love
it right
it,
here.
yeah.
We have a brand new router. It's $2 a month more than the last router, but it's 6 gigahertz. So you're talking about like 5G phones, this is 6G Wi-Fi. And it uses a whole nother band of spectrum, which means you can actually get full gigabit speeds. And when we offer more, it can do that as well. For the people on fiber optic, you'll be able to do more than a gig with these over new devices that have Wi-Fi 6E, which are the new phones and the new PlayStation Pro and the laptops and everything. Older routers, the Wi-Fi spectrum, the 5 gigahertz spectrum, there's not enough of it, and it's very crowded. So the max you can get is maybe 600-700 megs, but most of the time you see about a quarter of that, just because that spectrum is just too noisy. There's too many devices on it.
Okay.
So this opens up 1,000 megahertz of new spectrum. It's like $2 a month more, or you can flat out buy it from us. It's $300. There's other people that make these too. They'll call them Wi-Fi 7 devices.
Okay.
If you want to buy your own router, or you don't use Wind River Internet, that's another option.
How dare you?
Would really help out the internet connection in your house.
Awesome.
Low cost option, Ethernet cable, $10. Plug that PlayStation into an Ethernet cable.
Oh, okay.
Then you won't be running on that crowded 5 gigahertz spectrum and choking the internet down whenever somebody downloads an update.
Ah, the holidays in the house, full of family and kids, everybody using the Wi-Fi. I think that's the best tip for today, honestly, besides the USB-Cs and the stocking, is the fact that everybody is going to be crowded using the Wi-Fi. We have a ton of folks visiting, so I feel like I need to upgrade to that router myself. So.
And these are pairable too if you have Wind River Internet. So if there's a weak spot in like the back room where the internet's not as fast or the signal's not as strong, you can get one of these and put it in the middle room, and it'll repeat the signal.
Oh, okay.
And especially these new white ones, they'll take advantage of that extra spectrum, so it works wirelessly very well to repeat it. So
Awesome.
some ideas that you can get here at the office.
I love it. Of course, yes. Way to plug yourself, Patrick, because I didn't. No, that's awesome. That's great. All right, Patrick, did we miss anything? Do you want to give any fiber optic updates?
Yes.
Fiber updates?
We are trying to get as many people connected as possible before the end of the year on the new fiber optic line between ETHT, or mainly in ETHT actually, and Fort Washakie.
Awesome.
So we've got that all lit up. Anybody that lives along ETHT Road, we are hooking people up. So give the office a call, and you can get your internet speed increased tenfold for free. It doesn't cost anything to switch from our wireless to our fiber.
Sweet. Good to know. All right, well, we'll be back with another episode. Our next show will be in January, so we'll be ringing in the new year, and looking forward to that. I'm Shireen Herrera, Patrick Lawson with Wind River Internet. This has been another edition of Tech Tips. Have a good holiday.